We're talking about medicated body products. And our guest today, she is a medical doctor. She's a dermatologist. She's a health and wellness fitness coach. She is a dancer. Wow, trained one at that. She is Dr. Folakemi Adeife. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So straight to today's topic. Now, before now, we were talking, the two of us were just talking about how a long time ago, age-long tradition, a lot of people just say medicated skin product, medicated lotion, medicated soap and all that. Sometimes it turns out that some people don't actually know what makes a cream or a soap medicated. So can you first explain to us, how do you classify or define a soap or a body product as medicated?
Okay, so when you talk about medicated soaps, you're talking about, products, you're talking about products that have antiseptic, that is antibacterial agents, chemical agents as part of the soap makeup. So it's something that a lot of people, are very familiar with. Not all soaps are medicated, but once it has, some of the antiseptic or antibacterial agents that are meant to kill bacteria most times, then you can say that is an antiseptic or an antibacterial soap.
So so that means medicated is like the umbrella for the antibacterial, the antiseptic or whatever that can kill the bacteria?
Yeah, well, most of them are targeted at bacteria. We have quite a number of germs, that's microbes that the eyes can't see. Usually they are bacteria, fungi, or viruses. But most antiseptics are targeted at especially bacteria. So because you have more bacteria than other microbes, well, so it is thought, most of the antiseptic or antibacterial liquids or soaps are targeted at bacteria. Yes.
Okay.
All right, now let me ask the question we were talking about that we didn't seem to figure out. And that was, we're talking about having to use medicated, soaps, and they want to make a switch to soap that are not medicated, and then we have reactions on our skin. Is it from the medicated soap, or why does that happen?
Well, let me start off by saying, which is something we try to talk about a lot. It's not a very common thing to say, and some people may not want you to say it, but the truth is that medicated soaps are not good for the skin. They are not good for the skin.
Sorry, hold on. Yeah. Please repeat that again.
Medicated soaps are not good for the skin, for normal skin. So the reason is this. Our skin is not sterile. Our skin has good germs on it. Those good germs are meant to be there. They are meant to be there to help the skin. Think of them as a tenant living in a house and they are paying rent, they keep the property. They are, on the skin. So, and these good germs help the skin to function normally. So we are not meant to be completely sterile. The same with the mouth, the same with the gut. Our intestines have good bacteria that help it. And the female private part too has good bacteria that helps it. The skin also has its own, what we call the microbiome. That's the community of microbes, which includes some bacteria and some fungi and even a couple of viruses. Now, when you use medicated soaps, you take off that microbiome, those good and healthy germs, and it destabilizes the skin. So think of it as a landlord chasing out all his paying tenants and leaving the door of the property open.
Wow.
Anybody can come in, loot the property, live there for free, spoil it, and not even pay any rent. Or think of it as vigilantes at the estate gate. So when you chase them away, then armed robbers can just come and take over. So the idea of using medicated soap started from hospitals, and that's why they were created in the first place.
Okay.
So in hospital, there's extra amount of bacteria and germs, and you want to limit that, especially for people who are ill and their immune system cannot cope with the bacteria. Despite the fact that we have a lot of bacteria on our skin, our immune system still regulates them, so they don't overgrow, they don't become troublesome. We have our own police and our own soldiers. So anytime any of them are going haywire, calm down. The body is able to do that once you're healthy. But usually in hospitals, people are not very healthy. Their immune system may not be as strong.
Yeah.
So then you may need some assistance. And then especially if they're going for surgery, because the bacteria in the skin is not meant to go into the blood.
Okay.
So the skin protects it from going in. But if you're doing a surgery and you're cutting and you're opening, the bacteria of the skin going into the blood can cause infection. So the antiseptic soaps were meant for that purpose, to minimize infections in hospital. They're not meant to be used in the home by healthy, normal people. Because when that happens, they disrupt the skin and make the skin more prone to bad infections. And these bad infections, that's where you have more fungal infections, even viral infections on the skin. And the change also may be due to, because most antiseptic soaps are different from the acidity of the skin.
Okay.
Our skin is slightly acidic. People that know chemistry understand that it's about a pH of about 5, between 4 and 5.5. Most soaps are 10, pH of 10 and 11, 9. So when you use them, it kind of distorts the pH of the skin, and the skin is functioning optimally at a lower pH, is not able to function properly at that high pH. Some people are able to make up for it. Their skin can buffer and recover. Other people, not so well. That's why you see some people using the soaps and they're okay. And other people using them and it totally disrupts their skin and they have breakouts, they have rashes, and so many things. So it's in the first place not necessary for us to use medicated soaps. And in countries where they care about the environment, it's also found to be harmful to the environment. Because when you wash with the medicated soaps, you are sending these antiseptic soaps into the soil. And a lot of the healthy bacteria in the soil, that helps the soil
will be killed.
Will be killed as well. So in countries like the US and in the UK, most antiseptic soaps have been banned in the household for household use. They can only be used in a hospital setting. Another thing that is very worrisome about these soaps is a particular agent called triclosan, which is in a lot of medicated soaps, has been linked to hormonal disruption. It can actually be absorbed into the body, and there have been studies that show that it's linked to things like infertility, obesity, and in long distance, even cancer.
Wow.
Yes, so a lot of those studies were done in animals. So, but if it can do that in animals, then
there is
it's
a
possible,
likelihood.
yes, that it can do that in human beings as well. So all these reasons are, there are a myriad. If you just Google online, you see a lot of information about this, and we're trying to get the message out there. It's not necessary, especially for children. Because these days everybody feel, they play outside, let's get them clean, make sure there are no germs.
I was going there because extreme cases, I for one, let me use myself as an example. When I'm coming, maybe I engage in a very dirty job, I'm doing something and then I have the dust all over my body, I prefer to go for antiseptic soaps.
It's not necessary. And the scientific studies have shown that these antiseptic soaps do not even work any better at reducing infection than in plain soap and water. There is no benefit in terms of, preventing infections with using that. So a plain soap and water, hand hygiene, personal hygiene is very important to reduce the risk of many infections. But a medicated soap doesn't have any benefit over the regular plain soap. So most people, most experts will tell you plain soap and water is fine. You don't need to use that, especially for kids, because those germs are helping your immune system to grow. And it's one of the reasons why you have a lot more people having allergic reactions and immune problems, because we are taking away something that helps our immune system grow and develop. So the immune system becomes hyperreactive, starts fighting itself, and starts fighting things that it shouldn't fight. Because, there's something we call the hygiene hypothesis, that too much of cleanliness, too much hygiene is not good. They always say too much of anything is bad, including too much hygiene. So allow people to play in the dirt
Wow.
Let them, it's building their immune system when they're exposed to so many things. And then they wash off with just plain soap and water.
Okay, just to be super crystal clear, in case anybody out there is probably confused, is there any circumstance that can actually warrant the use of, or maybe like the prolonged use of medicated soap? Because I think we've been talking about soap and cream too. Is there any circumstance that can warrant the use of it?
There are circumstances where they are necessary, like I said, in the hospitals.
Okay.
If you work in a hospital, in a school, in a hostel or a prison, you can use them to wash your hands, but not your body. Even in the hospital, they are not meant to be used to wash the body. But, I mean, before surgery, an antiseptic agent is used to clean the person that's going to surgery. In some very rare skin, on occasion, some very specific skin conditions, we recommend certain medicated soap, not just any medicated soap. So like in some cases of sometimes things like scabies, there's a specific medicated soap that may help to reduce, prevent it from worsening or treat it. So, but generally, there's nothing that requires long-term use of medicated soaps at all.
Interesting.
All right, we need to take a breather, to take it all in.
And to sip our tea.
Okay, we're going on a short break, and when we come back, the phone line will be open for you to call or contribute as the case may be. So please do stay glued, because Tea or Coffee continues after this break. You can join us tomorrow for another exciting episode of Tea or Coffee.